Good morning, Michael Havers here from Penn News, and on this most beautiful day I'm in Cambridge, home to one of Britain's greatest universities. Now obviously we have a new Labour government, but it's going to take time before the changes implemented by that government feed through, before they're felt by the public, and before people can form an opinion on exactly how they're getting along. And we'll come to that soon enough. But right now, 98% of things are the same today as they were on the morning of the general election just a couple of weeks ago. So I'd like to ask people a slightly more open question. I'd like to ask them about the subject of national identity. Namely, do they feel proud to be British? If so, why so? If not, why not? Does it make sense to feel proud of something that is, after all, a coincidence of birth? And how has our recent history as a country affected how they would answer this question? These are things we're going to examine, and hopefully we'll get some interesting responses in this most educated and learned of places. Okay, let's get cracking. Do you feel proud to be British?
Sometimes. For a lot of the last few years, definitely not. I think our representation has been pretty crap. Recently seeing the shift has made it a bit better. I've also moved abroad, and that's made it quite a bit. It's interesting seeing stuff from the outside.
I would say in total, I really would. I'd say undoubtedly, proud to be British, yeah.
What would you say drives that? Where does that come from?
I mean, probably most of our delights, to be honest. A fried breakfast in the morning. I'd say a pint of Guinness, but Irish. But I don't really I see Ireland and Great Britain as the same, really. I mean,
are you proud to be British?
Yes, for the most part. There's lots to be proud of, and the British, as it were, need to take hold of bits of their heritage that they can be proud of and advance and work through that way, because a nation is a process and it's ongoing. Like the French Revolution, what was the outcome of that? We don't know yet, said Chairman Mao. So Britain is an ongoing project. We can shape it today, so we can and should be proud of various things.
Are you proud to be British?
Not so much, no, not really. I think Brexit has had a big impact on that. It seems to be a little bit isolationist, which I'm not very keen on. All business with them trying to stop the small boats coming over, the big fuss they've made about that and everything seems very unwelcoming. A bit of a shame, really. It's not giving us the best sort of image on the world stage, I don't think.
I'm proud of certain aspects of being British rather than others, but it's a wider debate. I'm proud of that. We've got a long history of basically being very accepting. So the culture of being British is accepting for very many cultures within it.
So are you proud to be British?
Very, yes.
What would you say drives that pride? Where does it come from?
Well, from years of having parents and grandparents.
Being born here and brought up here.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely country.
What makes it lovely, though?
Well, what does make it lovely? The people that live in it, mainly the English people. Hopefully we won't get too many foreigners come in and spoil it.
Are you proud to be British?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? What makes you proud?
My grandfather fought in World War II, was captured by the Germans, prisoner of war, so that makes me proud.
Yes, I won the lottery in life.
Right. What makes you say that?
Well, we're extremely lucky. We live in a rich country. We've got a good health system. Everything works. What more could you ask for?
Are you proud to be British?
Really good question. Not particularly, no.
Can I ask why?
Just disaster after disaster in this country. You sometimes think you look back with rose-tinted spectacles, but I think things were generally done a bit better than they've been done recently.
Are you proud to be British, would you say?
I certainly am, yes. Yeah.
Where does that come from, do you think?
I think it's heritage. What's been passed down through families, your mother and father, the way that you've been brought up. I would say a sense of fairness and trying to do the right thing.
So are you proud to be British, would you say?
Yes.
And why so?
Because I think we're a very inclusive nation, and I think we're a very honest nation. I think there are things that go wrong, but they have to be forgivable in terms of the change of the world and everything happens. So yes, because I think our welcome actually to all sorts of different people and different cultures is to be applauded.
Where did you move to?
Denmark and then America.
What sort of perspective has that given you on Britain, seeing it from outside?
Yeah, I think it seems. I mean, definitely for the past 14 years and the terrible governance there. Seeing that we're very insular, not outward-looking, not progressive, not functioning as an economy, doing the right things to actually grow. Also, being a scientist, seeing like lack of investment in this. There's been a huge brain drain there. Like so many people that graduated with me just left because the jobs and the salaries here are so poor in comparison to Europe and America.
I lived outside for 14 years, no inside hostels or anything like that. And my experiences have been varied through it. You know, obviously living 14 years outside, it was quite tough, really tough at times. You know, quite lonely, and kind of looked down a bit by some people in the community and stuff like that, which you'll get. You know what I mean? People will talk to you for 2 hours. People will turn their noses up as you walk past, think you know, some sort of alien or something. But my experiences in total, I'm here to tell the story. I was a good person all the way through those 14 years, you know. Well, try my best to be the good person all the way through those years. And was met with the same kindness. You know, I survived, lived outside for 14 years, got me forever home now.
So you've seen the sort of the best and the worst, and you've come away from that still feeling proud to be British?
Hugely. I mean, I've got my place out in the sticks now, and you know, it brings its own stresses and stuff like that. You can get dug deep in the bills and the papers that are coming in. But I take a walk outside my door and go into the fields and the nature and stuff like that, and you know, what a beautiful place we do live, you know, which is, you know, for me is in essence of British culture, you know, the landscape in which we live in, you know.
What are the bits that you say that we should hang on to, that we should be proud of? You could just give us a couple of examples.
This is a good thing. Our educational tradition here is respected around the world. I do a lot to try and uphold certain principles and values day to day, and on occasions such as this. I think it does mean something, and we have to keep looking at what it means, all the fairness and excellence and working hard, all that kind of stuff. These are good things, we can hang on to them. We can't take them for granted. So I see being proud of our nation as motivational, not a final state. It's motivational, and what do we keep revising and reviewing.
Hello, and can I just invite those of you who are watching on YouTube to please drop us a like if you're finding this video engaging, and subscribe too. Helps the channel, it means you won't miss out on future videos. And of course, please do leave a comment if you found something that somebody said interesting or thought-provoking in some way, or even if you just found it outrageous and you want to have a moan. Please check out the Pen News Substack at pennews.substack.com, where you can find all of our weekly Vox Pops in full, as well as all the other articles we're working on in the course of the week. It's entirely free, so you might as well subscribe. It won't cost you a damn thing, and you'll get all of our articles straight to your inbox. Okay, that's everything for now. Let's carry on. I mean, are there any particular sort of aspects of, I suppose, our institutions or anything like that about that sort of stand out, our democracy, our system of law and order, anything like that stands out to you?
Well, not really. I'm just hoping with Labour they will do what they're saying, which is change, because I felt with voting, I'd always worked in London before and I've always voted Conservatives because that's what they told you to do. But I must admit, I'm giving Labour a chance because hopefully it will change. I'm hoping that, as my friend said, that Keir Starmer will do what he says he will do.
Why did you think it was important to have that change? What did you think wasn't working?
Well, everything. We used to be nurses, so we know the NHS. So obviously that's a disaster at the moment. Yes, it is. And the immigration thing with all these. My friend's son is border control, and I know how many are coming over every day on the boats, and like their safety as well. Like they're just dying, and I just think, I'm willing to give. I was willing for a change. Sure. Yeah, change as good as a rest.
I suppose the only comparison is with the rest of the world who don't seem to be too well either.
Right, okay, so you think the entire world's on a bit of a downward spin at the moment?
Possibly. But yeah, it's a good question, and at the minute I don't feel particularly proud to be British. No.
You talk about the sort of inclusivity and the welcoming. How do you feel about, I suppose, things like we've had recently the Rwanda scheme and all these policies to roll back the small boats and all the rest of it? Has that had any impact upon that sort of aspect of it?
What I think about that, I think this country is in need of workers. I think there should be a way of these people going through a system that is far more efficient than it actually is at the moment. And I think it's an insoluble problem actually. But I do think that if somebody actually sat down and thought, right, well, we need more care workers and we need more, then it could be mutually beneficial actually. But I think the fact that people are drowning in the English Channel is just disgraceful.
Was there anything in particular that made you sort of, I suppose, less proud?
I mean, definitely our stance on immigration, like people that are kind of desperate for help, and us turning them away and treating them as vermin, which I think is just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, that's definitely not one that is to be proud of. We should be we're a strong, powerful country that should be out there helping people, not looking down on them.
One further thing, if I may, is have recent history. How has that impacted your feelings on this question, if it's impacted it at all?
Well, events in Parliament and so the Conservative government has been absurd, but I don't think that impacts Britain ultimately, because they made awful mistakes and they're a bunch of charlatans. But we still have a Parliament which we can be very proud of, and we did get rid of them, and they were opposed, and that's how it works.
Sure. So they're something that's temporary, whereas Britain is.
And when the next the Labour Party make a shambles of it, we get rid of them again. We're still very proud of being able to do that.
How has our recent history changed your opinion on this question, do you think?
I would say because of the things I mentioned, Brexit, and everything's a bit less. I would say I'm less proud to be British, and seems a little bit less. Like something we should be proud of, just to have an accident of birth that way.
Looking at our recent history, has that had any impact upon how you might have answered this question?
Yes, it has, definitely. Yeah.
How do you think it's impacted it?
In the sense of the contribution people made in the Second World War. It wasn't just, obviously, the British people, but people from all over the world. I often think of that.
How do you think our recent history, maybe the past 20 years or so, has impacted your answer to this question? Has it had any influence on how you feel about being British?
No, not really about. I mean, I'm always proud to be British.
Yeah, and we're proud of the king in the country. It's nice to have a monarchy.
Oh, definitely.
It's lovely to have a monarchy.
Do you think our recent history has impacted how you answer this question?
Yeah, and especially the last sort of 6-7 years. Have really, chaos with COVID, chaos with Brexit. Just chaos with the Conservative Party and the move into Labour. Just sound bites, nothing concrete about what anybody says. And I think the older politicians, or even 20 years ago, was a little bit more specific about what people said. And now it's just all, I think it was after Tony Blair, it's just all spin. I don't believe a lot of what people say. And I'm sure there's some decent politicians, but they can't get anything done.
How would you say the impact of our recent history, maybe say the past 20 years, has impacted upon the question of pride in Britain?
I think the trust in politicians has become very eroded. And my hope is, no matter what political party, there is some integrity put back into politics, and that people who are there are a lot of MPs who do a really good job, but you never hear about them. You hear about the ones who don't, and the ones who lie, and the ones who, don't keep the integrity at the right level. So, yeah, it doesn't stop me being proud to be British, but I do think we're very good at going, we're pretty crap, aren't we? We better sort something out.
Yeah, do you think we're our own biggest critics, maybe?
Yes, I do, but I don't think that's a bad thing, because there's so much that we need to think about and change.
In terms of our sort of recent history, say the past 20 years, has that had any impact upon how you feel about this question?
Yeah, I've done pretty well in the Olympics over the last few, so yeah.
Yeah. Does a lot of it come from sporting achievement as well for you, do you think?
Yeah, I like a bit of sport, so yeah.
And in, say, for example, the past 20 years, has that had any impact on it?
The last 20 years, well, I've seen things change in my lifestyles, different cultures perhaps coming in. That's probably the biggest impact.
Right. And has it made you more proud or less proud to be British, would you say?
I think more proud, yeah. It means that we accept other people, other cultures.
Do you think other cultures have enriched Britain, would you say?
Yes, I think so. It's given the opportunity, for example, of different cultures coming here that you don't have to go abroad to appreciate if you get what I mean. It makes it like quite easier.
When you think about your own national identity, do you consider yourself British, or has that become a more muddled question over the course of your life?
Not so much, yeah. Now a lot more European. I mean, living here, like all of my friends have been European or international, and then living abroad has like kind of severed my ties even more. And also, yeah, when the values of the country being put forward don't align with what you think and believe, it's kind of difficult to remain that like identity. But yeah, no, I've discussed this quite a few times. That like I feel more European than British for sure.
I still personally feel British, but you know, what goes on around you and your leaders don't make you feel too comfortable. If England won the football, it might be slightly different. These things are important.
I'd say white British because it's on the papers. When you sign anything, what do you class yourself as your nationality?
Sure.
The only box there is white British, you know. But I was born in Coventry, industrial heartland of the country, England. So I would say myself was, you know, quintessentially English, yeah.
And in terms of your own national identities, do you consider yourselves to be British first, or English first, or European, or what's it rank?
Yeah, British, really.
British.
Yeah, born and bred.
Born and bred. And would you put English second to that, or does that not even enter into the
Oh, English is second to British, isn't it? Because we are English, albeit we've been born in Great Britain, but we're English.
And in terms of your own national identity, do you have just the one, or do you have various sort of national identities that you hold? And that is British?
Yes.
English?
English, yes, probably.
What would you classify yourself as?
I'm English. Yeah. I am British as well, but...
Okay, which comes first in your mind, do you think?
English, because I was born in England, raised in England, English parents.
And do you consider yourself anything else, like European or any other country?
Well, I mean, I am European, but it's not what I would say I am as a first choice. I'd say English, then British, then European.
Okay, well that's that for today's video. I haven't edited it yet, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be that long. And the reason why was because there wasn't that much variety of opinion, not as much as I expected to find anyway. People generally were proud to be British, and even the impact of the past 20 years when I think the country has gone through a bit of a tough time, didn't seem to have really impacted people's view that much. They tended to regard this as being something that was more transient, and that their national pride was something that was more innate and harder to shake, I suppose. And it came from all sorts of different places. There were people talking about inclusivity and how welcoming Britain is, and there were others who were talking about going all the way back to World War II and the role we played then in defeating the Nazis. And I can understand that, I suppose. I guess maybe questions of national identity are partially about emphasising the parts that you like best. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. As I said earlier, please do like if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe too. Helps the channel, means you won't miss out on any future videos. And drop us a comment to let us know how you feel. Tell me about your national identity. Tell me if you feel proud to be British. Perhaps you don't even consider yourself British anymore. Let me know how you feel down in the comments. Okay, that's it for now, and I will see you next week. Cheerio.